welcome back. I'm Emer here in Ashburn Library, and this evening we're going to continue reading the next two chapters of Wired Teeth by Oisin McGann. This book was published by O'Brien Press. Hope you're ready to go. Chapter 9. A Secret Government Plot. The voices seemed very far away at first.
"It must be his braces,"
someone said in a gravelly growl.
"They're acting as a receiver, picking up all our transmissions. They're weird. Never seen anything like them before."
"Can we pull them off?" another watery voice asked.
"Not without pulling out his teeth too. I'm no orthodontist."
"It's just braces. It can't be that hard," the watery one insisted.
"Look at his teeth, for goodness sake,"
the gravelly voice whined.
"It's like some kind of tooth bomb went off in his mouth, and there's enough wire in there to hook up some Christmas tree lights. I can't do it, I'm telling you, not without taking out the teeth."
Jason was wide awake now, but he stayed perfectly still, despite being terrified. "With teeth like that, we'd be doing the little brat a favour," the weaker voice paused. "Hey, you awake?" A hand slapped Jason's face. "Stop faking, you little maggot. Look at me." Jason opened his eyes. He was in some kind of computer lab. Banks of technical-looking machines with screens and lights filled the walls. There was a hum of 100 little fans running and a smell of warm metal and dust in the air. He was strapped to a stainless steel table shaped like a big fat X. A mass of cameras and needles and other gadgets hung from an arm above his head that reminded him of the lamp in the orthodontist. There was 3 men in the room, all wearing long, dark coats and black sunglasses, even though it was warm, and there weren't even any windows to let the sun in. Jason hated people who wore sunglasses indoors. The 2 really big guys looked almost exactly alike, except one was black and one was white. They both had tight haircuts and designer stubble. The other man was smaller and chubbier with fuzzy red hair, half-closed eyes, and an untidy goatee beard. "Let me go!" Jason shouted, pulling at the straps. "Whoa, we've got a wild one here," the goateed one said, the one with the watery voice. "Calm down, kid. Don't have a conniption. Steady now. We're not going to hurt you, are we, boys?"
"No way,"
the big white guy said. He had the gravelly voice.
"We're not out to hurt anyone,"
the big black guy added. He had a gravelly voice too, almost exactly the same as his mate. Jason wondered if that ever got confusing. "These are just to stop you hurting yourself," the watery one waved at the straps holding Jason's wrists and ankles. "And so you don't go damaging our equipment. Nothing personal. You can call me Agent Orange, by the way. And these are Agents Indigo and Mauve." The 2 big guys nodded. Jason wondered which was which. "What's going on?" he asked in a surly tone. "I'm afraid you've stumbled upon a secret government plot." Agent Orange gave him an exaggerated frown. "A highly classified educational project. Even your teachers don't know about it. In fact, you're an important part of the project, even a vital one, you might say."
"Yeah, vital,"
one of the henchmen grunted with a smile. Jason said nothing. He knew that this was where the bad guys would tell him everything, and he had to concentrate on escaping so that he could get this out in the open and defeat the plot. That was how John Crater always did it in the Firefly films. Bad guys couldn't help themselves. They had to boast about how smart they were. That was always their undoing. But anyway, enough of that. Orange stood up and went over to a control panel and touched the commands on one of the screens. "We can't go telling you all our plans, can we? Give me a minute here and we'll just pull those braces off. Hopefully we'll leave most of your teeth where they are, and then I'll erase your memory. Just the last couple of days or so, and then we'll send you back to school. Lie back and relax. This won't take long." Jason gazed up in horror at the apparatus hanging over him. Orange leaned in to attach a chain to his braces with a set of small claws. The other end of the chain was wrapped around a winch hanging from the ceiling. "I would say this won't hurt," he said, making a friendly grimace. "But it probably will." "Wait!" Jason exclaimed, his eyes as wide as saucers at the sight of the claws. He knew exactly how solidly those braces were bound to his teeth. "Aren't you, his mind raced as he tried to think of some way of keeping those claws away from his mouth. He couldn't come up with anything, and so he did what came naturally. To hell with it. Pull out my braces then. You think I'm scared of you? Wipe my memory, you pigs. I don't want to remember you anyway. Who would? I mean, look at you trying to look cool wearing sunglasses inside and dressing up like a bunch of science fiction nerds. When's the UFO due, secret agents? You must be kidding. You look more like a sandpack of mummies boys trying to be with it. And what's your names? I mean, colours? That's like from a kids program, isn't it? What are you, cartoon characters? Or are you just a big gang of big girls' blouses? He put on a girly voice. Oh, I want to be Agent Indigo. It so goes with my handbag. Orange was looking back at Mauve and Indigo, grinning. This is good stuff. We should be recording this. Oh, I want to be Agent Mauve, Jason went on. That way I can paint my nails with my name. Wouldn't that be so cool? He ran out of breath and let out a burst of gasping laughter that surprised him as much as them. There was a sweet smell in the air that reminded Jason of something, but he couldn't put his finger on. Agent Orange was giggling as he reached over and pressed a button on the control panel. Then he continued attaching the cable to Jason's braces. No, he waved at Jason, chuckling. Keep going. We can use this. What are you talking about? Jason demanded around Agent Orange's fingers. He was feeling dizzy now, and for reasons he couldn't understand, the idea of having all his teeth pulled out in one go was starting to seem quite funny. We came to your school trying to find all the meanest, slimiest, nastiest, most horrible bullies in that area for our experiments, Orange told him with a big grin as he took out a small screwdriver and started adjusting the claws gripping Jason's braces. All the imaginative little rat pieces of low-life scum. And you were one of our stars. Jason sniggered, but the man's words hurt more than he wanted to admit. He wasn't a real bully. It wasn't like he was evil or anything. He was just having a laugh. Jason McGinty wasn't the bad guy. He was like John Crater, a good guy with some rough edges. So what if he slagged people off sometimes? He tried pulling at the straps again, but he was held tight. Orange went on, making tiny adjustments here and there to the cluster of claws. Jason's heart was beating like a drum in a dance tune, and he was covered in sweat, but he still found himself giggling. Chapter 10. Laughing in the face of fear. You see, life changes after your school years, Jason, Agent Orange went on, grinning. You rule in the yard and whenever the teacher's not around, but later on, those swats you're bullying are going to become scientists and politicians and businessmen. They're going to be your bosses. While you're busy having a good time and worrying about being popular, they're paying attention. They're learning how to get ahead. They're picking up skills. But a bunch of the nerds in power now want to get rid of bullying in schools forever. So we were brought in, study bullies and their victims, to see how their minds worked. I invented a low-frequency wave that can beam a bully right into your brain. We used thugs like you to create the perfect bully, the tormentor. And we've been testing it on kids all over the area. We can read their hidden thoughts. That's the secret, you see. Everybody's got a weakness, and you can use it to make their lives a misery. Orange's face was contorted into an insane grin as he made the last few delicate tweaks. The only thing was, we got to like it. It was supposed to be just research, but damn it, Jason, it's just so much fun. The tormentor can drive a child mad with despair. With a flourish, he touched a command on the screen. The ghost bully, the tormentor, appeared at the foot of the X-shaped table, and now Jason understood why all the kids had started turning on him. It did look like him, but his teeth weren't as bad, and its face was uglier, lumpier. It could have been a nastier, Neanderthal version of him. And suddenly, he wasn't laughing anymore. Just looking at it made him grind his teeth with rage and frustration. He didn't want to be like that thing. He didn't want to be hated. I'm not like that, he growled. I'm not like you. Agent Orange brought his face close to Jason's, giggling uncontrollably. Oh, but you are, Jason. We're exactly alike. He paused and then whispered, I get a thrill every time I make one of them cry. His fingers probed into Jason's mouth, checking that the claws were properly fixed. The tormentor's only supposed to be seen by the kids we target, but you've been picking up the signals on your braces, so they've got to come off. His fingers tickled and Jason found himself starting to laugh again. Orange sniffled. What's so funny? Shut your eyes now, and we'll have those those braces out in no time. Jason burst into hysterical laughter around Orange's fingers, and then his jaws slammed shut. The agent screamed, trying to tuck his trapped fingers free of Jason's ferocious teeth. Indigo and Mauve watched him struggling with both his hands caught in the boy's mouth and exploded into shrieks of laughter. Jason tried to help, but found he couldn't open his jaws. They were no longer under his control. He laughed so hard drool spat from the sides of his mouth. Orange was cackling and crying out in frustration at the same time. Indigo and Mauve were rolling around on the floor with tears rolling down their faces. The more Orange struggled, the harder they laughed. And then the door on the other side of the room swung open and Jason saw a familiar figure standing there. Dr. Shapiro put down the gas cylinder he was holding. He was wearing a gas mask and he walked quickly over to the two agents on the floor. Forcing their jaw opens, he jammed something metal into each of their mouths. Straightening up, he strode over to the table where Jason was biting down on Orange's fingers. The orthodontist pinched the agent's nose, forcing him to open his mouth, and slipped something inside. Jason heard a clicking sound, and when Shapiro withdrew his hand, he saw that Orange now wore a crude, bulky set of braces. Snap-on braces, the orthodontist told him. Still experimental, but useful nonetheless. Ignoring the projection of the tormentor, which he couldn't see, he took out a small remote control and pressed a button. Jason's jaws unlocked and Agent Orange pulled his fingers free. He stuck them under his armpits and danced around in pain. Jason laughed deliriously. What's going on? He managed to gasp. Easy there, Jason, Shapiro said. It's just laughing gas. I fed it through the door to disable our friends here. You'll calm down in a few minutes. When your braces registered that they were in danger, they signalled me, and I came running. It's lucky I came prepared. He carefully detached the claws and chain and then checked Jason's mouth. Then he undid the straps. You'll be right as rain, he assured him. Indigo and Mauve were getting serious now. They got to their feet, rubbing their cheeks, which must have been aching from the laughing. You'll pay for that, Indigo hissed. They started forward, fists raised. Shapiro touched another button on his control, and suddenly the two thugs' faces slammed together, their mouths jammed up against each other, as if these two muscle-bound agents were enjoying a passionate snog. I've just magnetised your braces, Shapiro told them. Behave, or I'll set them to biting mode. Orange was pulling at the braces in his mouth. Shapiro gave him a nasty look. And as for you, he said in a venomous voice, you have some explaining to do, and you're going to tell me everything or I'll switch your braces to mangle mode, and you'll end up with teeth like his. He pointed at Jason, who gave Agent Orange a big, wide smile. Orange stared at those misshapen molars and shrieked, frantically trying to pull the braces from his teeth, but it was no use. They were stuck fast. You go on home, Jason, Shapiro said, pointing towards the door. I'll handle this now. We're not far from the school. Just turn right on the road and keep going. These gentlemen and I are going to have a little chat. Jason wanted to stay and watch that little chat, but Shapiro's tone left no room for argument. He slipped down off the table and scurried towards the door. Behind him, he could hear Shapiro saying, as he opened the leather bag he had with him, This all comes to an end now, gentlemen. If you mess with a child's teeth, you mess with the entire dental profession. Jason ran along the dark, dingy corridor, out an emergency door, and across a deserted car park. He kept running until he got home. Jason never saw Agent Orange or his henchmen or their van again. The tormentor was gone, but the other kids in school still gave Jason strange looks from time to time. Mostly, though, things got back to normal, and he even got used to having those mad braces on his teeth. He didn't see much of Dr. Shapiro, and when he did, the orthodontist wouldn't tell him what he had done to the secret agents. All he said was that Jason and his friends didn't have to worry anymore. From the way he said it, Jason believed him. And as for being a bully, well, you couldn't quite say he was cured. He still gave a slagging and took the mickey, and he was still a bit of a smartass, but he wasn't so nasty about it anymore. And he didn't mind if the others slagged him back. Unless somebody made a crack about his teeth, of course. He'd still lay into them for that. But then, nobody's perfect.